turn your night rides from this into this. Today we're going to show you how to install our Super73 plug-and-play headlight kit. The kit comes with its own adapter that will go in line with your battery to your controller and give you the extra lead you need to plug in the headlight and run it straight from the e-bike's battery. That way you don't need any extra batteries to run a headlight. The things that you'll need for this installation are the kit, which comes with the headlight, the mount that replaces your original stem cap, the plug-and-play harness, a couple zip ties, and then for tools, you'll need a 5mm hex, a 4mm hex, and a pair of cutters for zip ties. And so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and install this. To install the harness, we're going to have to get access to all the wiring underneath the seat. So the first thing we're going to do is cut the zip tie that holds this cover on. And take that out of there. And then once you have the cover off, you'll see there's a large connection under there. And on that connector there's a knurled nut. You want to unscrew that nut. And then once the nut's unscrewed, you can just pull the two halves apart. And then our harness is going to plug into these two halves. And on these connectors, there's an arrow to show you how to line it up. So you want to look for the arrow on the adapter, and then the arrow coming from the cradle, and you're going to line those two up. And it should slide together easily. And then tighten down your knurled nut to hold everything together. And then we'll do the same thing for the other connector. So we'll tuck this up in there, get access to this, and you can see the arrow on that one is green. The arrow on the supplied harness adapter is black. Line those up, slide it together. There might be a little bit of resistance, but it should be fairly easy to shove them together. And then tighten down your knurled nut. And then once you've done that, you just want to tuck all these wires in nicely and bring this cover back. Make sure you got everything tucked in. And to make it easier, you can use one zip tie to hold everything up in here before you put the cover back up in place. So just feed your zip tie up around all your wires. Okay, and that'll hold that stuff in place while you put the cover up there. And then you're going to take your second zip tie and feed it through the hole in the cover and up and over all your wires, down the other side, back through the cover, and then you can cinch everything up. Okay, cut your excess off. To route the cable that's going to plug into the headlight, we're going to go underneath the battery cradle, but above the plate that's welded on the bottom of these tubes. And to get there, we're going to go through this as close as we can get to the bottom of the battery cradle. And we want to see it drop down. It should come down right about there. And then we'll pull some of that slack through. And then we're gonna go up over the plate, starting over here. The plate starts about there. So I'm gonna stuff it up in there and just feed it through until it comes out on the other side about here. And there are a couple welded riv nuts, or sorry, welded bungs under there. So you got to get past that. So if it sticks, kind of pull it back and feed it forward again. And once you get it through there, then you can take all that slack out again. And then you can either use Velcro like we have, or zip ties to loom it up with the rest of your wires. And you're just gonna feed it up here as close to the bars as you can get it. And then the next step will be changing that stem cap. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove this cap by taking out the 4 bolts. And then I'm just going to prop the bars right there. We're going to reuse our bolts, drop them into the new mount. Make sure you've got your bars centered, and you can snug these down almost all the way. And then adjust your bar height however you want it. And then go ahead and finish tightening these down. You want to make sure you get them nice and tight because you don't want your bars to be moving on you while you're riding like that. Okay, and then our next thing is to install the headlight. That last wrench we used for the stem cap was the 5mm. This one for the headlight will be the 4mm. And you can run your wire that comes from the headlight through here. Slide your headlight into your bracket. And then you're going to feed your bolts in from the side, so you're going to push your wires out of the way. Get your headlight lined up. Get the bolt started. Same thing for the other side. You're going to move your wires out of the way. Start your bolt. And you'll just want to snug it at this point, because once you start riding, you're going to go ahead and adjust the level of the light. So at that point, it's tight, but I can still move it. Or rather, it's snug, but I can move it. And then the last thing to do is plug in the wire. So we'll feed it down through here. We've got our wire coming from the adapter. And everybody's bike is going to be slightly different, but it'll be just like plugging this in will be just like the connector down below. There's a black arrow on here and a black arrow on there. Line those up. Plug it in, and then you have power. And then you just want to tie this up however it makes sense on your bike. For right now, we're just going to leave it like that. And then your headlight's ready to go. The last thing you need to do is put your battery on. And then once your battery is powered on, your light is ready to work. And that's all there is to it. And there's no need for an external battery, and it's always going to work as long as your bike has a charge. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know if you have any questions.